Welcome to The Explainer. You know, we've all been there, stuck in one of those arguments that just goes absolutely nowhere. It's frustrating, right? But what if I told you that a text from the 14th century, from India, might just hold this secret to fixing them? Well, today we're going to break down that ancient guide.
All right, so first things first, let's really diagnose the problem. Why is it that so many of our discussions, arguments, just feel like they're completely designed to fail from the start?
I mean, you know the feeling, right? Maybe you're scrolling through social media, maybe you're just sitting at the dinner table, and suddenly you're in a discussion that is just not going anywhere. It feels less like a real conversation and way more like a battle, where both sides are just digging their heels in deeper and deeper.
But what if the reason those arguments completely fall apart has nothing to do with the actual topic? I mean, what if it's not about politics or who's right about a movie? Well, this ancient philosophical text from India suggests exactly that. It says the real problem is the hidden purpose, the unspoken goal that we bring to the conversation.
So, what is this guide? It's a text from the 14th century called the Kathālskshana. And I want you to think of it less like some dusty old scroll and more like a surprisingly modern user manual for how we talk to each other.
You see, for these philosophers, talking wasn't just talking. The ultimate goal in life was something called moksha, or spiritual liberation. But, and this is the crucial part, they believed you couldn't get there without a really specific, crystal-clear understanding of reality. And what was the number one tool for getting that understanding? You guessed it, having the right kind of conversation.
And this really lays out the stakes perfectly. I mean, look at this. For these thinkers, this wasn't just about winning an argument on the internet. The goal, step 1, was moksha, spiritual liberation. To get there, step 2, you absolutely needed tattvajnana, which is knowledge of the truth. And the only way to get that, step 3, was through a very specific kind of discourse called vada. So for them, arguing correctly was literally a spiritual necessity. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Okay, so this is where this whole framework gets super useful for us today. The Kathālskshana basically says that every discussion, every argument we ever have can be sorted into one of 3 buckets. And what defines each bucket? It's all about the underlying goal. First up, you've got vada. Now, think of vada as the gold standard, the ideal conversation. It's basically a joint mission. It's like 2 scientists in a lab working side by side, trying to figure something out. The goal isn't for one of them to win. The goal is to discover the truth together. This is what we're all hoping for in, a productive meeting at work or a serious family talk. Then we've got jalpa. And if vada is that collaborative research lab, jalpa is a full-blown courtroom battle. Here, the main goal is totally different. It's not about truth, it's about victory. It's about reputation, about being seen as the winner. You see this all the time, right? Think about most political debates on TV. It's all about scoring points against the other guy, not about actually finding the best solution.
And last, we have vitanda. Okay, this one is the purely destructive form of argument. The person doing vitanda is basically a demolition crew. They're not there to build anything or offer a better idea. They're just there to find every single flaw and tear down whatever you've built. The perfect modern example? The classic internet troll, right? They offer 0 positive position, but man, are they experts at picking apart everything you say.
All right, and this table really brings it all together. Just look at that mindset row for a second. Is your mindset collaborative? Is it competitive? Or is it just purely deconstructive? This is the absolute core insight of the whole system. Your intention, your why, is what defines the entire game. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Your goal changes everything.
But okay, this framework isn't just about putting labels on things. It actually goes way deeper. It provides a really clear set of rules of engagement. And which rules apply, well, that all depends on which game you're playing.
For example, the text asks this super practical question that gets right to the heart of it all. Does a debate need a judge? A moderator. And the answer, which is pretty brilliant, is it depends entirely on which of those 3 games you're playing.
So get this. In vada, the search for truth, a judge is totally unnecessary. And why is that? Well, because both people are just motivated by finding the truth. Once it's found, they'll both just accept it. There's no winner to declare. But for jalpa and vitanda, where the whole point is to win, a moderator is absolutely essential. You need someone to track the arguments, enforce the rules, and at the end of the day, declare a winner and a loser.
And the text gets incredibly specific about who could even be a judge. They couldn't just be some random impartial observer. No, they had to be an expert in multiple fields and completely free from personal biases like desire or hatred. And then there's this really interesting spiritual requirement, devotion to the divine, which was basically seen as proof that you had all the other good qualities needed for the job.
Here's another fascinating rule. This one is about evidence. For them, the highest, most powerful form of proof wasn't just being clever with your logic, what they called tarka. No, the ultimate proof was agama, which means shared authoritative texts or sources. Think of it like this. The modern version would be agreeing that, say, peer-reviewed scientific consensus is our foundation. The whole point is to anchor the debate in some kind of shared wisdom so it doesn't just become a free-for-all of, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Okay, so this is all fascinating ancient philosophy, but what about us? How do we actually use this system today? What kind of debaters should we be trying to be?
Now, the big takeaway here isn't to run around labeling one type good and the others bad. That's not the point. In fact, Jalpa and Vedanta can be useful, say, when you're defending an established truth against misinformation. The real power of this whole thing is self-awareness. Just being able to recognize which game you're playing, or which game the other person is playing, that's the critical first step.
And the text leaves us with a really important reminder about responsibility. The whole point of a Veda discussion, of finding the truth, isn't just to hoard that knowledge for yourself. Nope. Once you actually understand something, you have a duty to share it, to extend that understanding and help teach others.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. This ancient user manual doesn't just give us labels, it gives us the power of choice. But becoming aware of our own intentions, we get to decide what kind of conversation we're about to have. So the next time you feel an argument starting, what game are you going to choose to play? Will it be a battle, or will it be a shared search for something true? That choice, right there, can change absolutely everything.